Hey guys, I popped up to the office today to create a little video for you because, I have three crazy kids at home, and so this will be the only time that there is a quiet video that we have. But anyway, I want to talk through the things that we have due this week. Next week. Your assignments will be due Monday, April 6th. You've got an essay due and a few other things. I know this is going to be tricky. Some of your jobs have changed. Some of you have picked up extra hours. Some of you have your kids at home. And believe me, I 100% understand how difficult it is to do work when your kids are at home. Anyway, but we're going to figure it out together. And I wrote an essay at home yesterday with my crazy kids, and I believe that you can too. So let's go to Blackboard, and I'm going to show you what we have due this week. So here is our Blackboard week. You can see the assignments that we have due April 6th. We are going to be using No Red Ink to finish out our grammar practice for the semester. You'll click there, create a login. You will have just some assignments due here. They're called Fanboys. It's not letting me show you because I'm signed in as Miss Gilbert. But let me know if you have any problems with No Red Ink. It's very self-explanatory, and I don't think it should cause you any problems, but if you do have any issues, just let me know. You have a quiz over Hillbilly Elegy. They're just 3 questions. They're short answers. It shouldn't take you very long. And then you have a persuasive essay due. Okay, so I want you to look through this prompt, pre-writing an essay. This is my first time to do this exact assignment, and so I have created, instead of showing you student examples, you're just looking at my examples, but you get to choose one of these 4 prompts. So you can choose either Vance often discusses the problem of social capital. Remember, social capital is that like knowing people who know people kind of thing. And the poor, how should society help people without social capital gain it? So you're going to present a solution, mentoring or whatever, to increase social capital and discuss 3 examples to support your position. So that kind of is dependent on what your solution is. You can have 3 parts to your solution, whatever, but we are going to do still a 5-paragraph essay, and you do need to have 3 main points that you talk about. Number 2, despite Vance's rise in social and economic class, he still often views himself in the place he grew up in. Is it possible to leave the social and economic class you grew up in? So that's what you're talking about there. Is it possible to change, to leave? Why or why not? And you'll use 3 examples. Number 3, Vance very nearly drops out of high school and gives credit to Mama for creating an environment where he can succeed. Is personal responsibility or family culture more important in educational success? So that's what you're talking about there. Which one do you think is more important for educational success? Personal responsibility, that I can do it, or family culture, having a family who supports you doing that, creates a space where you can. And here you might think too, like, what would the negative be? Which things prevent educational success more? Is it personal responsibility or family culture? You think of your position from that viewpoint, might clarify your position there. Number 4, Vance says his time in the Marines taught him self-discipline and how to be an adult. Some countries, like Israel, mandate military service. Should the United States mandate military service? Discuss 3 reasons to support your position. He talks a lot about the military and how it gave him just life skills that were needed to be successful that he didn't get at home. So anyway, something to think about. All right, so you're going to pick one of these prompts and you're going to answer the question. This is a 600 to 800 word essay. My first draft was like 1,000 words, so I'm warning you, it's easy to go long on this one, especially if you use research, but I want you to keep it 600 to 800 word essay. You are going to use MLA format, and this is a persuasive essay, so you're trying to get the reader, right, me, to change my thoughts, attitudes, and beliefs to join yours. You're convincing me of your position, but you are not using first or second person in this essay. No, I, me, my, we, us, our, you, or your, right? 3rd person only, even if you are using examples from your own life. So you will submit your pre-writing. We've always done this in class and I haven't collected it for a grade, but I will collect it for a grade for this assignment and our last essay as well. So you can do this in a bunch of different ways. Remember, you can create a concept map with bubbles and lines, that kind of thing. You can do some free writing. There's several of you who like to just kind of start writing out your thoughts. I prefer listing, so that's what I do. But I want you to think about really dissecting the prompt. What is it asking? What do you think about that? And I have used a different prompt for my essay, mostly so that you can't copy my stuff and have to do it on your own. So my prompt is, given the examples that he encounters in his life, Vance appears to associate religiosity and church attendance with success in social isolation with poverty and poor choices. For Vance, religion appears to be inextricably tied to familial acceptance, reflecting on his inability to ask his father questions about evangelical theology. Vance notes, I didn't know whether he'd tell me I was a spawn of Satan or send me away. In his conclusion, Vance points to the young man Brian's precarious fate with, among other things, whether he can access a church that teaches him lessons of Christian love, family, and purpose. Is participation in a religious group necessary for personal and economic success? So that's what my question is, right? Is participation in a religious group, which he talks about Christianity specifically, so that's what I address in my paper as well. Is it necessary for personal and economic success? Okay, so I have my pre-writing here. I have chosen to find some research online that supports my position, and I tell you here, you can do that if you'd like to. I felt like it added some credibility and some power to my argument, but you do not have to, okay? And remember, if you do choose to use sources, you, 1, have to create a works cited page, 2, cite them correctly in your paper, and 3, pick sources that are credible and reliable. So stick with news, magazines, that's what I've done, to get those pieces of evidence that you'll use to support your position. So I have my pre-writing here, my first point, what I'm going to have in it, my third point, and then I put it all together for my outline. You will also submit an outline to me. Don't forget to put your topic sentences and transition sentences in there. So I have the quotes that I'm planning on using in each point. I have my transition sentence, my topic sentence. Remember, I just need to have introduction and conclusion. We've done several outlines together, so this shouldn't be anything new or strange to you. You've done it before, but I have attached a blank outline for you if you would like to use that as a starting point. So there is that. Now, as I started writing my essay, here it is. I ended up, like I said, with a lot of words. So I had to take out a couple of points that you'll see in my outline, and that's fine. I have this set up in MLA, right? You know what that looks like. Don't forget, for your intro paragraph, you need to have a hook. Don't just jump into your paper. I want to see some things that are in there before the transition. So since I'm talking about Christianity, I kind of started with the history of Christianity in the West, well, what that looks like and how it's kind of trickled down till now. Transitioning to his book and then my persuasive thesis here about it. My first point here, what did I want to talk to you about? I wanted to talk to you about how to set up your quotes. We haven't talked a whole lot about quotes in our class and how to integrate them in class. The main thing that I want you to know is, again, this is not required, but if you choose to do it, you have to integrate your quotes seamlessly in your paper, which means you set them up with a sentence of your own writing, put the quote in there with an introductory phrase before it, and then have also a sentence that sums it up. So if you'll see here, my quote is from the book, right? On page 92, Vance says, Dad, which the sentence doesn't start like that. It says he, but I had to make it shorter because I can only have 4 lines of quoted text at a time. Anyway, so that's what that is. But Dad credits a more serious involvement with his faith, talking about like how he's changed. In this, Dad embodied a phenomenon social scientists have observed for decades. Religious folks are much happier. Regular church attendees commit fewer crimes, are in better health, live longer, make more money, drop out of high school less frequently, and finish college more frequently, right? So some markers of success that we see in Christianity, and regular church attenders, right? So it supports my position that happiness and personal success are linked, that church people are more successful and they're more happier. They're happier. Right, so things I want you to know, right? I set it up. I talked about this is what I'm going to be talking about. His dad is changing because he's in a church. And then I also have an introductory phrase here. I don't start the sentence with my quote. I say Vance writes or something like that. I end with my quotation marks there, space, and the page number in parentheses followed by my period. Now, that's because this is a book. You'll see in a second that when I use online sources, I do not have them in quotation marks. I don't have a page number at the bottom. So then I have a sentence, right, that sums it up. Now I move into my next point. So this is from the Pew Research Center, and I got this off of their website. But this guy, Joey Marshall, did the initial text. I thought I had it up, but I don't. Anyway, so according to Joey Marshall with the Pew Research Center, actively religious people are more likely than their less religious peers to describe themselves as very happy. So that's the end of my quote. I don't have a page because it's not in a book and it's not a PDF. That's all I have in there. The only thing that I need to make sure is that I have the thing, right, this guy's name, which is going to be what shows up down here on my works cited, right, Joey Marshall. So when somebody's checking my quote here, they know exactly what I'm talking about, where I got that source from, where I got that information from. So then I have a sentence that sums that up, and then I have a sentence that introduces my next source, which is from Time Magazine. This initial paragraph or point for me, my point one is my strongest point. I have 3 quotes in it. My last one has none, which is fine. But just so you know, they're not all this long. Then this is also a website article, and so an article on a website. So it also does not have page numbers. So I end the quote with my quotation marks, and that's it. I do not have any page numbers. And again, I have Brian Walsh here, and I have Brian Walsh here. If you choose not to have Brian Walsh at the beginning, you would put Walsh in this. If your article does not have a author, then you will just put an abbreviation of the website, right? CNN.com or something like that. If you have any questions, I will make myself available this week to go over this with you. It's not difficult, right? You're just going to copy what I did here. I really have done this in the easiest way possible, as far as like if I have an author, I put it at the beginning, that I don't have to worry about any attribution at the end or the thing that goes in the quotation marks. So what else? I mentioned here that I took out some things because I just ran out of space. I had too many words. Got a nice conclusion here at the end. And then my works cited. So I've set over here for you, which you can copy my Hillbilly Elegy citation in here if you would like to, if you end up using that book in your paper. But I just copied the link, right? Here's the Time article up here. So I just copied the link and then I pasted it in easybib.com, and it created that citation for me, copied and pasted it in here. All I had to do was change it to hanging indent. So that is my works cited and my essay. So I will let you read that on your own time. I've attached it in there for you, and let me know if you have any questions about it. So that's the main thing that we have due this week is our Hillbilly Elegy essay with the pre-writing, the outline, and the essay. Those are all due April 6th.